everybody, it's Sara. Welcome back. Today I thought I would share with all of you all of the unread books that I have on my shelves. So I was actually inspired to do this video by Liv from Stories for Coffee. She did a video just like this on her channel not too long ago, so I will make sure to link it up here if you want to go and check it out. So I've never done one of those videos before on my channel because I never really have a lot of unread books on my shelves, but I just thought that this idea was just so interesting because it kind of, you know, rekindle your love and interest into the unread books that you have on your shelves. But I only have 7, so we're not gonna be here for a while, but I just thought that it would still be interesting to talk about all of those books with all of you. So the main reason why I don't have a lot of unread books on my shelves is actually because I generally only buy a book if I've already read it and enjoyed it, because whenever I buy a book and then I read it and I end up not really enjoying it, I always feel like I wasted money. And I'm not saying that that's how you should feel if you buy a book and then you read it and you don't enjoy it, or I'm not saying that you should be careful to not buy books that you haven't read because you're wasting money and you're being so wasteful. Like, there is definitely this conversation about consumerism on BookTube that comes back every once in a while. Like, I'm not trying to make you feel bad for your book buying habits. That is not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying that for me, it is just how I feel. I prefer to buy the books that I've already read and that I know I'm probably going to reread one day, and just because, you know, these shelves are going to be filled with all of my favorite books, and that is what I want. Literally, the only reason why I go out to a bookstore and buy a book that I haven't read yet in general is because it's the new book of like one of my favorite authors, and I know I'm probably going to enjoy it. Like, there's a very high chance, or like it's the new book in a series that I already know that I love. So most of the books that I want to share today are actually books that I got as gifts from friends, and also just, you know, a couple of books that I bought on a whim, because I do that sometimes, like very rarely, but sometimes I do. And the first book that I want to share in today's video is actually the next book on my TBR, and that book is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This is our pick for the month of January over at the Tea Leaves Book Club, and the live show is actually going to be taking place on my channel on January 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested, keep your eyes open. But basically, I bought this book because of the book club, obviously, and also because I really do think that I'm going to enjoy it, because this one basically talks about this library that is set in between life and death. And when you die, or when you like close to dying, I'm not sure what the technicalities are, but basically you go into this library and then you can read different books that will tell you the different ways that your life would have turned out if you had made different choices. And so we follow Nora, our main character, as she enters this midnight library, and I don't really want to know too much more before going into this. I know that it deals with very dark themes like depression and mental health, and I think also suicide, so definitely look out for the trigger warnings for this one. I will try to find them all and put them in the description box of this video if you're interested. So yeah, this one is definitely not going to stay unread for a very long time because I'm planning on starting it very soon for the book club, and I'm really excited about it. Like, I really think that I'm really going to love this one. Then the next book that I want to talk about is actually one of those that I bought on a whim, and that book is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. This is a classic that I have seen the adaptation for, but I haven't read the book yet, obviously, because I'm talking about unread books. Boy. Basically, if I remember correctly, this book talks about our main character Margaret, and she and her family live in the countryside in England, but then at one point, for like one reason or another, her father decides that he wants them to move over to the north of England in a very industrial town. And at first, Margaret is actually disgusted by this town. She doesn't like it, she doesn't want to live there, and then she meets the owner of a mill. I think it's a mill, I'm not sure, but basically she meets the owner of this like factory thing, and they start to have this like very rocky relationship because they really hate each other, but then I think that they learn to like understand one another. I really love the adaptation from the BBC. It's like a mini series and it's really great, so I've been thinking that I should probably read the original book, and I bought this one, I want to say maybe like not exactly like a year ago, but like a couple of months ago. And apparently Elizabeth Gaskell's writing is very, very good, and I'm really interested into the story. Obviously, I don't read a lot of classics, but this one is definitely one that piqued my interest. Then the next one that I have is actually one that was gifted to me by Mary from Mary Among Stories, and that book is The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I always say The Assassin's Apprentice, but the title is actually just Assassin's Apprentice. I always butcher that title. I don't know why. But anyway, this is the first book into the 4-seer trilogy by Robin Hobb, and in this book we follow our main character Fitz, who is trained to become an assassin, and we follow him since his childhood to his adulthood, during all of his quests and all of that, and it sounds really, really good. This is a very popular fantasy series. I know that Robin Hobb is one of those fantasy authors that a lot of people really, really love, and she is kind of like a classic of the genre herself, and I'm really excited to read this book because I really feel like I'm going to enjoy it. This is actually one of the series that I really, really want to get to this year, so I'm so happy that Mary gifted this to me. We actually did this thing where we buy each other like surprise books, and then we open them on camera, so I will leave the video for this linked up here if you want to go and check it out. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to read this book this year. I really, really hope I like it because I just want to love Robin Hobb. She just has like so many series and they all sound so great, and I just want to be in on the hype, you know? So yeah, very excited for this. Then I want to talk about the second book that Mary actually got me for this little like surprise book exchange that we did, and that book is The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. This book is one of Mary's favorite, and she always says how incredibly underrated this book is, so I was also very excited when I saw that she decided to send me this. And basically this one follows this cat called Nana, who follows his owner as he goes on a journey, and the cat doesn't really know why his owner is like traveling that much, but he just follows along, and I guess that we slowly start to uncover why his owner decided to go on this journey as the story goes on. And yeah, apparently it's like very emotional, very cute, and the cat is like very sarcastic and sassy, which sounds very, very great, and I don't know too much, but I'm also very excited to read this one. Mary and I are planning a very fun project surrounding the books that we actually got one another, so stay tuned for that as well. Then the next unread book on my shelf is another classic that I bought on a whim, which really doesn't sound like me at all, but it's true, and that book is Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. This is another one of those classics that I've already seen the adaptation for. I saw the movie with this like very famous British actress. I never remember her name, but anyway, it was great, and so that is why I thought that it would be great to actually read the book. And in this one we follow our main character Bathsheba, and from what I remember, she lives in like rural England, and she has like 3 very intense love stories with 3 different men, and that's pretty much all that I know about the book. The synopsis also doesn't say too much, but I remember really, really loving the movie and also the 3 different romances that were portrayed in the movie as well as in the book. So yeah, I'm definitely very excited to read the original book. Also, apparently Thomas Hardy is a really, really great classic author, and this book is actually like quite feminist from what I've heard. So yeah, I'm definitely really excited about this one too. And then finally, the 2 last books are actually the 2 parts of the same novel. So I actually have even less unread books on my shelves than I thought I did, and these 2 books are The Way of Kings Part 1 and The Way of Kings Part 2 by Brandon Sanderson. So this is the first book into the Stormlight Archive series, and this was actually also another gift from Mary. So Mary, thank you so much for getting me this book. She knows that I've been meaning to read it for like so long, so she got it for me for Christmas, which was just like the sweetest thing, and I am so excited to read these 2 books. Well, this book, however you want to like think about it, and oh my god, I've been thinking about reading the Stormlight Archive for so long, and I'm so happy that I finally have the first book on my shelf because it will definitely force me to actually pick it up. I was definitely like planning on reading it this year. It's one of the 2 series that I'm planning to read this year. I'm so excited about it. I don't know too much about this except for the fact that it's like a fantasy, like a high fantasy novel with different points of views, and apparently apparently the action is incredible and the characters are great, as always in Brandon Sanderson's novels. And yeah, I'm just really excited to dive into this. It's like a huge book. This book is like over 1,000 pages long, I think, but I am just so excited for the journey and the adventure and the magic. It's gonna be so great. Alright, so there you all have it. These were all of the unread books on my shelves. I hope that this was interesting, even if I don't have like a very big pile to talk about. But yeah, I'm just very excited about all of those books, as you can clearly tell, because I've said the word excited like so many times in this video. It's honestly kind of embarrassing. I need to have a better vocabulary, but it's fine. So if you've watched until the end of this video but you're not really sure what to comment, leave me a little book pile emoji in the comments so that I know that you're there. And if you want, also please let me know like how many unread books you have on your shelves, because I'm always so curious about that. But anyway, I hope that you really enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!